edition of Pananomics Podcast, New York Weekly's #1 podcast in 2020. Don't forget to look us at Spotify and Apple. And today, we have a very special guest who came from a long place, right?
Denver, Colorado.
We've been sitting here. We've been trying to do this for a couple of months. But the amazing Jessica Bustamante, who is not just an author,
correct,
right, but is a cancer survivor multiple times,
correct,
is currently considered terminally ill,
correct,
and is kicking ass and beating it. Has amazing style, beautiful energy, beautiful woman. Love her haircut the most. Amazing support system.
Yes.
And we're excited today to talk a little bit about your journey because it hasn't been an easy journey. And we talked a little bit about this beginning. Tell me what happened and how you've led to this journey where years later we're sitting here on the podcast talking about it.
You know, I never thought my journey would be here, David. In fact, I was told it would never happen. You know, from day one, and this is for all cancer patients who are just getting diagnosed. I'm speaking to you. The reason why is because I understand the fear and I understand the words, you have cancer, when you first hear that. And the first thing that goes through your mind is, how long do I have?
Right.
Nothing else matters. Everything else just kind of goes through the top, and not even treatment. You're just like, oh my God, it's just a shock, right? So you think, okay, how bad is the situation and where am I at? Next question normally is always going to be to a patient is, how bad is it, doctor? Am I, do I have a chance here? Are we talking treatment or are we talking time? And it's just, one of those things where you're like, okay, where do we stand? And depending on your doctors, they'll tell you, you're going to go through treatment, you're going to go through this is a protocol, surgery. Did all of it. In the beginning, like everybody else, I knew nothing, David. So I did go through the emotions. You go to your doctor, I did surgery, I did chemotherapy, I did everything from day one. However, the one thing that I guess I was more open and strong about is the fact that I wanted to get down to, why did I get cancer? Genetically, they tested me and I wasn't positive. It didn't run in my family. It didn't know anybody that, siblings. So I'm like, why? What happened? And if it was negative, then why did I get cancer? Then I found out that only 10% of people who get cancer is genetically positive.
Wow.
90% that are getting cancer, what does that mean? They're getting cancer because of something they're doing, whether it's environmental, whether it's chemical, whether it's bad nutrition, whether it's trauma, stress, all these factors come into play. So then I thought, okay, if Jessica, my body caused cancer, is it possible to figure out what it is that triggered cancer in the first place, and is it possible to rid it from the body? And that was my mission, to prove the doctors wrong. When the doctor told me in the beginning, David, in 2014, he said, I had 1 year, right? And when he said I had 1 year, I had a 16-year-old son. I was still a single mom at the time. And I was like, I'm going to watch my son graduate. And that was my little goal. We have to have goals. And this is another thing that I'm going to tell cancer patients. When you stop dreaming and stop, thinking of next week or next month, and I'm talking short term, don't shut yourselves off as this is it. When you stop planning on goals, then your life really truly is over and you're shutting down. But when you keep on saying, well, you know what, I got this. It's like I told my doctors, I ain't got time to die. I got too much to do. And there's so many things that I have that is on me that I can't allow this to go. So a lot of it is mind over body, But what I'm telling you is don't just believe what you're being told, because a lot of it is the mind.
Right. It's so powerful to hear this because being from an Eastern culture, right, obviously born in Taiwan, a lot of the medicines, the mental, the meditation, the spiritual is what we believe as a big indicator of why things happen. That's a part of it. But I wanted to ask you a question. Mm-hmm. Most people, when they hear this news, your thoughts were at a very hard, probably negative, very sad thing. Mm-hmm. Tell me from that point, that darkness, how you pulled yourself to that one point. I understand what you meant as far as your son, but just getting yourself to stand up from that hole to say, I'm going to look at it. Tell us about that journey.
And let me tell you, there's two types of emotions that happens in I have to say, in an oncology room. And I'm telling you this as a patient because I've seen both, okay? I went in there when they told me I had 1 year to live, and he gave me a time frame. I said, I looked at him, and I was healthy at the time, meaning I hadn't had chemo. So I felt solid.
Right.
And I'm thinking, how dare you? I got angry.
Of course.
I got angry.
Of course.
But people don't. There's other people, and I'm telling you, David, I've been in an oncology room where I'm walking by the room and they just tell another patient. And I've been in the rooms where I've seen women break down, scrolling on the floor like children. And their spouses are there and the doctors are there. And what do? You know what I'm saying? It's like you either lose it and don't know,
right,
or you pull yourself together and say, no.
That's right, because there's only two choices.
There's only two choices.
That's right, and you pick the right choice.
That's right.
That's what I like.
I said, you don't know me, right, and you're not God, number one. I said, so you know what? You're fired. I fired him on the spot. I never saw that oncologist again. Went to another one. And I'm like, look, I'm a human being. I'm not just another patient. I'm not a next. I'm not a number. I understand I'm not your mother, your daughter, your sister, your brother, your whatever. But I'm somebody. Right. You know? And sometimes, look, I understand doctors too. They're trained not to get attached.
Right.
Okay, I've done both sides of this. Right. But in the end, like the world today, it comes back to morals. And morals is wrong and right. Heart, no heart. And we need people who care. We need people to touch one another. We need people to say, you know what, your life matters. I don't care. And this is why I do what I do. You know, in the end, this journey has been Jessica searching for other patients out there and showing that it is possible. If I can do it, you can do it. And anybody is capable of doing this. But it is being disciplined. The thing is, are you willing to put the work? I tell people, it's easier for me right now to die than it is for me to stay alive. But I stay alive because you know what? Life is worth living. I have enough reasons to keep going. I have my partner, I have goals, I have my future, and I know what I'm coming up. Because you know what? Your life matters. And that's why I fight.
You know what's so amazing about what you just said? We've had Cam Moore, director Domi Shion, who's doing the Red Panda thing. We've had the editor-in-chief of Entrepreneur Magazine. We've had athletes and everything else. But one thing, we have a lot of things in common, but I'll tell you, what you just said is what we all have in common. None of us quit. None of us take the second alternative.
Nope.
All of us fight until we cannot.
That's right.
And we keep fighting.
That's right.
And all of us have the same message, which is whatever you're doing, the compassion. It's so funny because right before you came in, I really had this discussion with one of my team members. I think April heard it. The value of what you're trying to do overshadows money and fame, and those things can come if that's what you're trying to do as a driver. But doing the right intentions, like you, lead to these type of things that happen, and it's so amazing to hear this from all these different people from all these walks of life. Like if there's a commonality, it's not education.
Correct.
And if it's a commonality, it's not because you came from somewhere great.
Correct.
The commonality is that's it. It's you.
Yes.
It's what you got. It's what you fight for. What a beautiful thing. So now you told him you're going to hit your goal. You're on your own. What started the journey of you starting looking at things in a very different mindset that really was like, this might not be it. Although I understand that you've done this, this is the journey that I want to take because I understand me. And that's a powerful journey.
Right. I like I said, I knew that if I wasn't genetically positive, then something I did created the problem.
Right.
So what was that? Now,
Good. Right.
I was a hairdresser. I owned salons in my life. I had, I was a colorist. I was traveling. I was a platform artist. David, I had a whole different life ahead of me. The life that I had planned for me, I know now being on this journey was the plans that Jessica had for myself, but it wasn't my calling. And now I know what my calling is, and I do know that I have a bigger purpose. And he knows that I'm willing to do it for whoever, is going through this journey to speak up.
This is so beautiful. Okay, I'm going to get myself together.
Yeah.
The bigger journey is the single most greatest thing, but it's the most difficult thing.
Of course.
You have to do it. Now there's no excuse for anyone. You have to do it while being terminally ill. But you're not terminally ill because you're winning.
Correct.
So, at that point, that strength, were there times that you wanted to quit and you had to pull yourself back together? And what helped you do that? Because I think a lot of people don't realize that. When you see the highlight reels, everyone thinks everything's great.
Right.
But we're working 20 hours trying
Correct.
to survive. We're trying to balance, like everyone, you're trying to balance everything else.
Okay.
And you got to deal with this. How did you do that?
So you knowing that, David, because you know what you do as an entrepreneur. You know what it takes. I, doing where I'm at, doctors, going through different treatments, battling. During my 8-year journey, I've written 3 books. And this is not for me. This has been for the people. Why? Cancer Void 1 was my number 1 book. And this was at the beginning, and it talks about emotions when I first got diagnosed. How do you deal with it? How did I manage to push through? And then I started learning the journey of nutrition and how to start changing things. But this was my beginning journey with full of knowledge for someone who I believe is just diagnosed and going through. My second book is for someone who is terminally ill or going through the journey, going through chemo, going through radiation, because this is powerful in the sense where I will speak of how to get through the journey. Pain, spirit, I even get more thorough in, diet because I got better as I learned. So I put in as I went, and you're going to see that I get more intense, more in depth throughout my books. Now, Spiritual Fitness and Survivors is a book that's a 3rd special edition. Danielle and Emilio are out of town. They are amazing people, but they got a hold of me and wanted me to be in this book with 22 other co-authors. So each chapter belongs to an author on different stories of how they survived, whether it was sexual abuse, whether it's military, whether, it was some kind of hardship getting through the storms. All authors on this book are survivors. And this is why this story is out there. So if you're going through domestic violence, this is the book to get, because you got 22 authors of different stories that you can, affiliate with. Wow. And then if you affiliate with that author, then you can purchase their book.
That's amazing. Absolutely. So these 3 books are obviously out and about. We'll
Amazon.
put them again at what we have to do, and they're on Amazon. And you really thought about this. You went through the initial journey, the last piece of apparently is what they're telling you, and then the survival side of it, winning it. So now that as you're doing this and you're putting together these books, what did you find out about your own personal journey that was the reason of what you think or what you believe in is, or what you were told that your health issues were?
That everything that we were taught up into this day is wrong. 80% of our grocery stores, shouldn't exist. It should not be in the grocery stores. We don't understand what we've allowed as society to for it to be okay. It's kind of like saying, I hate to say it, we go down to Cokes and Pepsis and, it's not okay. These things have things that they know are, doing things to the human body.
Right.
But it's because it's all consumption. It's all about money.
It's a big money thing, right?
So we need to start being disciplined and saying, I want better for our children, enough with consumption and money, and we need to start, changing ourselves for a better world for our future.
That's amazing. When you talk about some of these foods, you mentioned soda, right? That would you say that is food a big reason of why people are they are? Is it stress? What have you learned in your journey that you have seen?
The biggest reasons, absolutely, is nutrition today.
Okay.
We were taught to eat 3 meals a day, completely wrong. There's a lot of things that we were taught that we think is healthy and is wrong. Just like, example, and people who follow me know this, if you have cancer, number 1 thing I'll tell you to stop immediately. Sugar, dairy is just as cancer feeding as sugar. Get off all dairy. Cheese, cottage cheese, yogurt. I don't care if it's got dairy. You stop. It's feeding your cancer. Dairy and carbs. Those three things. Flour, anything with you got to get off those three things. Now, there are other things to better your diet. This is why I speak of. But I'm just saying, if little things like this, if I start, and this is why I have a podcast. I have 2 pages on Facebook. I mean, I constantly put out information for people. I even wake up in the morning. I make my breakfast shakes. I put it on video. I'm like, look, people, let me help you. You're not on this journey to, alone. I know what it is to feel scared. It's so sad that, like me, in this situation, you look at food and I'm scared of food. I'm scared of food because I know what it's doing. I'm terrified to put it in my body, David.
What are the things that you do eat that has helped you with all this?
Everything green and everything fresh.
Everything green, everything fresh.
Organic, everything green, everything fresh, meaning your fruits and your vegetables are the way to go.
I love it. What about meats?
Get off.
No meats either.
Not anymore. It's not that they were bad, it's what they're putting in it now.
Right.
It wasn't a bad thing back in the days.
Right.
This is my point on why I say we need to stop what's being done and go back. Let's go back to our organic farmlands. Let's go back to saying, I'll pay that extra $1.
Right.
It's worth it.
Right.
Let's get all that stuff out of the grocery store that's not helping our children. If you guys please wake up and don't take my word for it. Why do we have so much cancer today with children? Why? We never had it. But if we don't stop what we're doing, we're going to keep on going down this route. Right. So if I have to discipline the parents in 101 education on food, then let's start there.
I love that. I think that's such an important thing because it comes down to the key word, education. A lot of people don't have that.
That's right.
So your ability to educate would be imperative in these type of decisions. And I love hearing that. As I hear this, 8 years of a journey like this, you are a strong, amazing individual. 8 days is tough. And you said something to me earlier. You said it'd be easier for you to just quit than fight.
Yes. For people out there and don't know this, just letting you know, in 2016, I had a relapse and the cancer came back, breast, lungs, bones. It was pretty much all over my body. When I went to the doctor, my oncologist, he said, Jessica, it's catastrophic. That was his words. And I said, I know. I feel it. I knew. And he said, go home. Chemo's not even going to work for you, Jessica. Go home. So I went home to hospice, David.
Wow. Holy cow.
This is 2016. It's all in my books.
Holy cow.
I went home to a hospice. Nurses started coming over and I was expected to decline. And then I told my nurse, you're here. You're science. You know what you know. But as you come to my house, I said, I am determined to come back. And I started treating myself with, a lot of holistic things that I know to do to bring the body back. And in 2017, 1 year later, I'm the only girl that I know of, and my nurse is here and she can vouch for that, that exited hospice in 2017. And in 2018, I got off all full traditional medicine against what my oncologist said, despite the type of cancer I have, for 2 years.
For most people that don't know this, hospice is it's your time.
It's my time.
That's it. That's what hospice is. It's caring for you to leave.
Yes.
The fact that you lasted that long, I recently lost my grandpa. We had to do the hospice thing, and I had to translate and try to tell my parents what it meant. And I really didn't understand it until I looked it up and really knew what the differences were. And I just remember sitting there. Oh, God, I'm going to start crying. This is going to be awful. Never happens on my show, by the way. I just remember sitting there feeling so...
helpless?
That was the word. Definitely helpless. And angry. And everyone in the family's fighting.
Right.
Mom,
because everybody's going through emotions.
They all have different emotions, and nobody can agree. And I'm like grabbing, I'm in 40. I'm grabbing them. I'm like, you guys are the adults. Like, get your shit together because this is his life, and they really couldn't get it together, and the end result was not what he did. You, on the other hand, you got it together and you did it. So when you talk about, some of this Eastern holistic stuff, some of the mainstream stuff that you have, what is it? Is it meditation?
Everything. I speak a lot, and I tell people, open your mind to knowing that there's a lot of things out there that can help you balance the body. What you got to understand is you have an imbalance. What made that imbalance? Is it the nutrition? Is it trauma? Is it, there's people, we don't know what they're going through behind doors. Divorce, abuse.
Right.
We don't know. Right now, the way the world is, I hate to say it, but really, who's happy?
Yeah, no.
Who right now? There's a lot of things that are going on financially. Whatever. The point is, there's something that's gone on. Now, I've had trauma in my life. I told you, I got divorced. I was a single mom. My businesses, I was go. And even though I was thin and working hard, I didn't take care of myself. It was clients were always first. I was a colorist doing colors 10 times a day. If I didn't have time for lunch, it was like, snack on a Snicker bar, give me energy, and let's go. You see what I'm saying? We do that because I'm too busy.
Yeah, I understand this.
And you know what? It caught up to me, David. And you know what? I said, and this is why I tell patients, don't blame God. What we need to do is we need to start saying, it's my fault. What did I do? We can change this. And I believe with all my heart, in fact, I know with all my heart that God left natural, holistic things in this world to heal the body. We just don't know because we don't learn and step out of the box because we're so used to mainstream and go to the doctor.
Right.
That's what we're taught.
Right.
But more meds, you have to understand, guys, that the more meds you put in the body, the more chemicals you put in the body, the more it also it goes after cancer, but it also goes after your good cells. So eventually, your body doesn't have the capacity to bounce back up. And my job is to detox the body, cleanse the body, purify the body, and is it possible to now bring in those cells to now combat and put cancer to sleep? That's the thing. Can I keep cancer dormant? And I've proven that it is possible.
That's amazing. As you're sitting there and you do the Eastern, the spiritual side, dealing with the stress side, let's talk about this. Mm-hmm. Most people have a very hard time dealing with stress.
I know.
Most people, it's funny because I just had this conversation 5 minutes ago.
Yes.
I had told my fiance had a discussion where after working all the years I've done, everything I've done, I'm very numb to things. And not in a way that I'm necessarily particularly proud of. Right?
Yes.
I'm very honest about it. I'm very numb to things. I don't think about them. It's just kind of this is what it is. But when she said that, as a compassionate, loving human being, it struck a chord in me that I just didn't like. I didn't like to feel like I was being numb. Because like you, we're on the go, we're tired, and most of the time we don't even realize that we're on the go that much. It's almost like I can't believe it. It's been 3 months, and I haven't seen you, and I can't believe it's already been 3 months. Mm-hmm. On that journey that you were doing, when you were going through that, how did you manage your stress? And how much of a factor is stress as a killer to all of this?
Big time. In fact, I'll be honest, guys. In 2016, when I was sent to hospice, I was going through a lot of stress. Wow. I have and people who are close to me or know me, know that it's more family related. It's me and my father. We don't have a relationship anymore. So that was really hard for me.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. And you made your adjustments to fit what you have to fit and to be able to do what you've done. At your current time, what are you doing that you could have done differently in your 8 years that you didn't do in 1? I know you said the medicines and changing that around. You talked about stress. You talked about
if you want me to, and this is going to be very bold, and I know this is going to be struggling for many cancer patients to hear what I'm about to say right now. Being on this 8 journey, what I've learned, and if I could do something different, and one thing that I would change, is that if I would have known what I know now, David, I would have never done treatment to begin with. I would have never done chemo.
You hear this from a lot of people. You
I know.
really do.
I know.
A lot of people.
I know, but they don't know any otherwise. And now that I know what I know that I can bounce back.
Currently, right now, before we came in, you had mentioned that the doctors didn't give you that much more time.
Correct.
Supposedly.
In fact, we're on camera right now, and you're just now meeting me, David. Right now, the doctors, I'll be honest, I don't think that they give me 6 months from right now. So in 6 months, like I told David, I'll be giving him a phone call, and I'll surprise him.
No, I know you'll be giving me a phone call, and we'll meet again. You will not surprise me, because I don't doubt it. And you have all the Pananomics people with the support. I'm very rarely speechless when it comes to this type of stuff.
I know.
You know, as you're looking at this, I mean, guys, when you think about life and you think about stress, Jessica has to deal with all of that,
Right.
and deal with something that you didn't ask for.
Correct. But
How do you find that mental balance?
I have a bigger calling.
That's so beautiful, Jessica.
I have a bigger calling, and I know it.
That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. You know, the purpose is more important than anything. I don't think
Okay, so let me give it to you a little bit more shocking, David. I've been approached, and I've been told let's put it this way, by a pharmacist, really good pharmacist, a friend of mine. And he said, you know, Jessica, doing what you do, I had a patient like you before. And I said, oh, really? He says, yeah. You know, he was doing the same thing and had a lot of followers. And, you know, he says he was showing people a lot of things. But one day he went in for a routine visit and never came out.
Right.
And I looked at him and he says, do you understand? And we looked at each other in the eyes, David, and I said, you know, Mr. So-and-so, I do understand. But here's the thing. I've been on, they gave me a death sentence a long time ago. I'm not supposed to be here in the first place. I fear not doing what I'm supposed to do more than I do fear this world.
That's right.
So you know what? I'm okay. I'm going to do what I got to do. I'm not going to stay quiet.
Amen to that. Jessica, on this journey that you're doing, where can they find your podcast and your social media and your books and learn more about you as an amazing human being? Now I know why Nell messaged me. I mean, God, now I just feel like I should have just been like, this is amazing. We're so blessed to have you. Tell us where we can find you and continue to support.
Well,
and listen to this
please, Cancer Void, Book 1, Cancer Void Book 2, which is also known for Cancer Guiding Light, Spiritual Fitness and Survivors. You will find all these books on Amazon. You know, all you got to do is either put in the name or put in my name, Jessica Bustamante, as a book author, and it will show you my books. You could go there for starting information. If you are on social media, I have 2 pages on Facebook, one under my personal page, one under my cancer journey page, where there I post daily things on how to educate you on opening your mind on things that I've done different, everything from nutrition to exactly cannabis. I live in Denver, Colorado. I will explain to you the medicinal sides of it. There are many other things that I discuss that I've done different, from IVs to, the right supplements and why Jessica chooses them. You know, I give you all in detail why I've gotten better and better, including even down to the water, and you all know this.
Amazing. I mean, I've had almost 100 episodes, and I've
I
never
know.
been speechless, which is just mind-blowing to me. No. Amazing. Guys, please follow Jessica's journey. Take a look at her advice, her thoughts.
And I need my YouTube up, guys. My YouTube people. My YouTube is Cancer Void. So please, I'm trying to get that one up to subscribers so that I can do what I got to do. And I need your help because I'm one person. You know, by you just sharing, is sharing to somebody else out there to give them that glimpse of hope. And together, we can do that.
Oh, amazing. Jessica, thank you for your time. We'll see you in 6 months with an update of how you're beating the shit out of this. Love you to death. Thank you for coming.
Absolutely, David.
Thank you, guys. For New York Weekly's #1 podcast, David Chen, Jessica Bustamante. Don't forget to check out these amazing books right here. We'll be putting the link in there, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Stay safe, stay blessed, and stay grateful.
God bless.
Check it out.